Well, bore da pawb. How are you all? Hope you all had a lovely half term. Now, today, Mr. Richard is going to read Cadog and the Mouse because this week all our work is going to be about this story. And this is a very, very old Welsh folk tale. And because we've got St. David's Day this week, perfect book for us to read. And it is called Cadog and the Mouse. Dyma Cadog. Dyma Llagolyn fach, a small mouse, but he's a little bit on the tubby side. Are we ready then? Cadog, the monk, was as happy as a lark. He was on his way to Brecknock to see his friend Bachan. Now, Brecknock is the old name for Brecon. Good morning, he called to the people in the fields. What a fine day. But the people of Brecknock shook their heads sadly. Edrychwch, maen nhw'n drist iawn. They are very, very sad there, aren't they? Look at this, it's got a lovely monogram of a curly cat for Cadog the monk. Even Bachan looked miserable. Oh, Cadog, he said, you'll have to go home. There's no food here. Look, nothing's growing. The fields are all bone dry. No wonder everyone looked so pale and thin, said Cadog. Wherever he looked, the people were hungry and the animals were starving. Look, you can even see the ribs on this pig. All except one, because hiding in the ditch was a small round mouse, and the mouse watched Cadog with her bright eyes. When Cadog went into Bachan's house, she skipped after him and peeped through a hole. I'm staying here with you, said Cadog to Bachan. I must find food for the people of Brecknock. He knelt down to ask God for help, and the mouse ran away. Now, a monk is a religious person, so he's praying to God. In a while, Cadog opened his eyes. On his slate was a fresh grain of corn. Now, this is a very, very old story. So they didn't have pen and paper. They didn't have iPads. They didn't have phones. He had a chalk slate like our chalkboard in our yard that you can chalk on, and the one in our class. And the mouse has left a tiny, tiny little grain. A fresh grain of corn. Where did it come from? He asked. I don't know, said Bachan sadly, but one little grain isn't enough to feed us all. They can't all share that out, can they? Cadog prayed again. The next time he opened his eyes, there were 2 grains of corn on his slate. Look, it doubled. So he had 1, and now he's got 2. He looked up at the roof. I wonder if the wind blew them in, he said. Cadog prayed 6 times, and each time he had 1 more grain of corn. So each time he prayed, the mouse delivered him a grain of corn. He wrapped the 6 grains in his scroll, and he knelt down to pray for the 7th time. As soon as he'd closed his eyes, the mouse sneaked out of her hole. She crept across the floor with a grain in her mouth. And quiet as only a mouse can be, she dropped the 7th grain on the slate. But this time, her soft fur touched Cadog's hand, and Cadog opened his eyes. A little mouse, he said. So you're the one that's bringing the corn. Have you any more for us? Cadog tied a length of very thin thread to the mouse's leg, and he put her on the floor. When the mouse ran out through the door, Cadog followed as fast as he could. The mouse ran over the bone-dry fields where the corn was wilting. She ran till she came to a field of dusty yellow grass with a mound in the middle. She sat on the mound to wait for Cadog. When Cadog arrived, he looked as sad as the people of Brecknock. There was no fresh corn anywhere. Then he felt the thread twitch in his hand, and he saw a mouse disappear into a hole in the mound. Look, it's like a little maze. Just as Cadog was kneeling down to peep in the hole, the mouse ran out again, with a fresh grain of corn in her mouth. At once, Cadog dug in the earth on the top of the mound. Under the earth, he found a heavy door. He pulled the door open and saw in front of him a flight of stone stairs. The mouse ran off down the stairs. When Cadog followed, he could hardly believe his eyes. Under the earth was a fine old house full of good clean corn. The mouse ran into the heap and came back with a fat grain for Cadog. "Thank you, little mouse, for finding the corn," Cadog said. "Now there'll be plenty of food for everyone till the rains come." Cadog went to fetch a cart from Bachan's house, and he and Bachan shared out the corn among the people of Brecknock. Soon everyone was fit and happy again, just like the mouse. So it tells me here that this story has been translated from Welsh, and it's a very, very old story, a very old folk tale that they used to tell each other in Wales, and is being retold by a lady called Sian Lewis. So she has used her own words to tell the story. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we get up to this week. Hwyl fawr, and I'll see you soon.